Hello guys! Today I'm doing a review of Machine of Death, a collection of stories about people who know how they will die, edited by Ryan North, Matthew Bernardo and David Markey. Machine of Death is, as the title would suggest, a short story collection about a world where you can find out how you will die by consulting this machine called the Machine of Death. You will not find out when or why you will die, but you will find out how. This collection of short stories explores how this knowledge affects the individual human being as well as a whole community. You might think that a collection like this would be really predictable and that the stories would be quite similar, but this is not the case. I was pleasantly surprised by the range this collection had. There are 33 stories in total, written by 22 different authors, and they cover so many different topics and genres. Some are incredibly funny, while others are deep and insightful. I don't want to say much about the individual stories, because it's quite hard to explain what the stories are about without giving too much away, but I will say a few things. I was really impressed with the collection as a whole. The concept itself is just so interesting and it works really well in a short story format. As with any short story collection, there are going to be some stories that you like more than others. Ultimately, my favourites were the ones that said something about us as human beings. Miscarriage, Exploded and Question Mark being really great examples of those stories. Furthermore, I really enjoyed Despair, a story about a team of doctors dealing with the ethics of their job in this new world of the machine. And finally, I really liked HIV Infection from Machine of Death Needle, which is literally a sentence long and it is super funny. Like I said, there are always going to be some stories that you don't like as much in a short story collection. There weren't any stories that I genuinely disliked, but there were some that just didn't interest me or was just plain boring. In Machine of Death, it was probably the editor stories that I was the most disappointed in. Starvation by Matthew Bernardo was probably the most boring of the collection, and Murder and Suicide respectively by Ryan North I just simply didn't understand. David Markey did an okay job with his two stories, but to be honest, I was expecting more from an editor. I know that a lot of people have a problem with the continuity of the collection. Personally, I thought that the stories made perfect sense continuity-wise for the most part. The stories are clearly set at different time points and in different parts of the world, and that easily explains why the regulations surrounding the Machine of Death are so different from story to story. The only issue I had with the continuity was surrounding the creation of the machine. There are two stories centered around this, and there are also some other stories where the authors allude to the creation of the machine, and they just don't match up. That was a bit off-putting for me, but all in all, I was really impressed by how well these stories work together, considering that 32 different authors have worked on the collection. I really like the format of the book. In the beginning you can read the comic story that inspired the collection, which I thought was a really nice introduction. Every story also starts with an illustration, which I thought was a really nice touch. There is some really nice art in here. I particularly enjoyed the illustration for Miscarriage by Renee Engstrom, which looks like this, and the one for Question Mark, which was drawn by Kazu Kibushi. I really enjoy Kazu Kibushi's art, and this was clearly no exception. Overall, this is a great short story collection. I couldn't bring myself to give it 5 stars, as there are some stories that simply aren't as good as the others, so I ended up rating it 4 stars. There were a few disappointments in there, but the ones that I liked, I absolutely adored. I would definitely recommend this to anyone who likes existentialism and dark humour. I will definitely be picking up the sequel to this eventually, and I can't wait to get back into the world of the Machine of Death. All of the stories from Machine of Death are actually available online at machineofdeath.net in both ebook form and audiobook form, I believe. So if you are interested, you can go check it out there. I'll leave a link in the down bar. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.